Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to today's session. How are you doing? I pray that all is well with you and your families at this time. So today we're moving on to verse number 15, and it's starting the attempt by Mother Yashoda to bind Krishna. She's now trying to bind him. It's her first attempt and it's a failure. We'll see. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, verse number 15. Tadhama bhadhyama nasya svarbakasya krita gasyaha daiv angulonam abhutena sandadhenya cha gopika. Translation. When Mother Yashoda was trying to bind the offending child, she saw that the binding rope was short by a distance the width of 2 fingers. So this is the famous part of the pastime where Mother Yashoda is now attempting to bind Krishna. She's redeemed that with the stick he's too fearful. So she's thrown the stick away, but she has to also teach him a lesson. So how does she do this? So she recognized that the grinding mortar is there. It's a wooden grinding mortar, must be very heavy. And she's thinking, now I shall bind him up here. I shall tie him. So yesterday's verse was deliberately spoken because it was emphasizing the point that please remember, we are dealing with the unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord, Parameshwar, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And He's unlimited in every way. He's unlimited in all His potencies. He's unlimited in all His energies. He's unlimited in every paradigm of our conception. And this personality is now going to be bound. So what is it that can bind him? And we've concluded after yesterday's verse, Prabhupada was emphasizing this point, Bhakti Mam Abhigyanati, that only by devotion can I be understood. So we can see here, only by devotion can Krishna be bound. So the Acharyas tell us that when she's attempting to bind him, she puts the rope around the mortar and then it puts it around his waist. Damo Uddara. This is where the name comes from. Damodhara. Damo Uddara. The rope which is tied around the belly. The belly area. So she's trying to bind him with the rope around the belly. So her attempt in trying to bind, what happens? She goes round, 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 round and round. But as she comes to tie, it's 2 fingers too short. Like today's verse is saying, it's the width of 2 fingers. If you put 2 fingers together and you measure that, that's the distance in which she was short. Now she's looking, oh, this is short. Now how to get more rope, because this fellow will quickly run. So she's looking here and there, what can I get? She's probably holding his hand. Remember, she caught him by the hand. When she caught him, she grabbed him by the hand. Now she's probably holding his hand and telling him, so many, you so naughty, you just like that, you broke this, you can just imagine what's going on. Krishna is just getting it. He's all fussed up because he doesn't know, because he doesn't want to be bound and he's upset, and mother is now chastising him and he's embarrassed. Everybody is looking, Queen Kunti is looking, and we don't know what's going on with him. So her attempts to bind has failed. The first time the rope went round, it's 2 fingers short. Let's see what happens. Thus she brought another rope to join it. Now she got another piece. And she's putting that piece, so she's tying a knot on the one end and she's going around again. Now hopefully this can go. And by logic, if you try to use logic to the Lord, then you can say, well, if she went 3 rounds the first time, Why don't you just do 2 rounds this time? You definitely have extra rope. This is Professor Frog now speaking here. Yes, Professor. So instead of going, if you went 3-4 rounds the first time, just come down by 1 round and you'll have extra rope. That's the logic. So she goes around, and when she comes around his stomach area, Damodara, she comes around and then it's 2 fingers too short, even though she's going 1 round less. Now what is this? She can't understand it. So you must know, she's having quite a heavy morning. She's having quite a heavy day. The only good thing about the day that she saved the milk from boiling over. Otherwise, the rest of the day is just too much to deal with this restless boy. So let's see what she does. Purport. Here is the first chapter in Krishna's exhibition of unlimited potency to Mother Yashoda when she tried to bind him. So, Prabhupada is saying in the purport, this is a first exhibition of unlimited potency. Can you even conceive of such a thing? Just to have some power to do something. We call it abilities. Potency in this context is like abilities to do things. So when we're able to do something and others can't, we become very unique, and people admire us for that. Wow, this is what sports is about. This is what talent is about. Because you can do something others can't. That's your potency. So when you're looking at this and you're observing that somebody has potency, but it's unlimited and variegated, Parasasakti vibideya suyate swabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha. The Shastras tell us that Parasasakti, Krishna has unlimited energies. Krishna has variegated energies, and it's all unlimited. Now try to conceive of such a concept. You can't. How do you conceive of something that's unlimited? You can't. You can't conceive the limits of the unlimited. What is the limits of the unlimited? But to bind one means to limit. But she's not binding a mere mortal. She's binding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the unlimited being. And how is she going to do it? It's going to only happen out of love. If you try the physical binding is like all the austerities that we do, tapasyas, all the austerities that we do. We go through the hardship and then we hope that God feels sorry for us, man. We just pray that God will look our way and feel, God will look our way and say, shame, shame, look at this poor person. And then give us what we want to get more bound in this world. But this is a different situation. So we can see here Mother Yashoda's physical attempts just to bind Krishna out of anger or at that moment out of frustration. She's just trying to bind him, but she hasn't won over his heart yet. She hasn't won over his heart. She has his heart. That's mother and son. But she has, in this situation now, he's upset. In this situation now, he's upset. So she hasn't won over his heart yet. So in this moment, he's trying to tell her also, who's boss? Prabhupada goes on to say, the rope was too short. The Lord had already shown his unlimited potency by killing Putana, Shakatasur and Trinivarta. So by killing these demons, when the Brajbasis would observe this, they would say, how is this possible that these big demons are coming? This little boy, this little child, not only that, this infant, Krishna was an infant. And he killed Putana at that time. It must be that some good favor. You remember the Garga Muni told, this boy will be like Narayan. So they thought, he'll have all godly qualities, he'll be a divine child. But they couldn't conceive of Krishna when he would exhibit his opulences, when he exhibited his unlimited potencies. They couldn't conceive of it because their love is so strong, it overpowers all these potencies. They just love Krishna. That's why Vrindavan is the only place when true love can be experienced. Nowhere else. Everywhere else is tinges of love, but pure love, pure unalloyed devotional service, pure love, unmotivated, uninterrupted love, that can only be experienced in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada goes on in the purport. Now Krishna exhibited another vibhuti or display of potency. So when Krishna shows this vibhutis, his opulences, that's why the 10th chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit, it's called Vibhuti Yoga because he's showing all his opulences. Out of the fish, I am the shark. Out of the mountains, out of great things, I am the Himalayas. And out of all the rivers, I am the Ganges. So he's exhibiting these things that we see in awe and reverence because of its grandeur, because of its ability or talents that it has to put us in awe and reverence. This is just Mama Teja Samsa Sambhava. Arjun, this is just the spark of my splendor. Yat yat vibhuti mat sarvam Srimad ujita evava tat tat eva vagachatvam mama tejas amsa sambhava. This is just all that you sing, Arjuna. This is just mama tejas amsa. This is just a part, amsa sambhava, of my opulence. What you seeing, you getting bewildered by, this is just, I have unlimited like this. You know what's unlimited? No. So that's saying unlimited. So to really appreciate this now, you should read chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita to see that this person who's exhibiting all this is just the amsa, all this grandeur in the 10th chapter. Out of all the animals, I am the lion. Where Krishna is saying, I am the ability, all your talents is coming from me. Rasoham apsakonteya prabhasa sasashurya pranava sarva vedeshu shabdake porusham nishu. He says, I am the taste in water, I am the light of the sun, I am the Om, and I am the ability in man. I am your ability, your abilities come from me. So this person now is going to be bound. How do you bound somebody who is unlimited like this? So to really appreciate who Mother Yashoda is binding here, one should read the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, because then you'll really appreciate this person who's exhibiting all of this is now going to be bound. Wow. You'll just be awed. Wow, wow, wow. Just imagine, how is Mother Yashoda going to do this? It can only be done out of love. So Prabhupada goes on to say, display of potencies to Mother Yashoda. Unless I agree, Krishna desired to show, you cannot bind me. So actually, who is the boss at the end of the day? It's Krishna. He is the unlimited supreme being, the Param Vyuha, that which is spoken in the first chapter of Bhagavatam. Param Satyam Dhimahi. This person is now becoming controlled. Parameshwar, Ishwara, Parama Krishna. This person who is Ishwar, not ordinary Ishwar, is Parameshwar, the supreme controller. Ishwara, Parama Krishna. This person now is going to be controlled. How is that? So Krishna is also showing Mother Yashoda that your motherly love is so powerful that it's even overpowering all my opulences to work. I want all these opulences to work, and by my nature I'm saying, opulence, work. No. Why it's not working? Because the love of Mother Yashoda is so strong, it can't manifest. It can even inhibit Krishna to manifest his opulence. This is how powerful this love is. Otherwise, he would have just displayed it. But he's looking at Mother Yashoda and he's saying, yes, at least let me show you, you're still dealing with God here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's done that by giving her 2 fingers too short on the rope. She's trying to tie, it's not coming together. Again, she added one more piece, now we're hearing. She found another piece. And she's adding that, not working. It's still short. Prabhupada goes on to say, thus, although Mother Yashoda, in her attempt to bind Krishna, added one rope after another. So now she found more and more and more rope. So she must be just going all around the house looking for string and rope and things to tie. And she's just going round and round and round. You know, if you go to these places like Brahmanda Ghat, there's these big ancient trees. Even in Jagannath Puri temple, we took the devotees there. There was this Kalpa Vriksha tree after you come out of darshan, and as you're exiting through the southern gate, then there's this Kalpa Vriksha tree, and people tie cloth on the tree. You've seen that? They tie it on each of the branches. So that particular tree was completely covered over by cloth. That's how much people had put cloth on it. So one after the other, Mother Yashoda is putting layers and layers and layers of rope, but it's always coming 2 fingers short. Like I was saying, if she just goes by logic, you just go 1 round less, you'll definitely have extra rope. But when it comes together, 2 fingers too short. This is Krishna. You're dealing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead here. So he's saying, because I desire it, therefore you can. Because I desire it, therefore you can bind me. Don't forget, I'm still the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But you are bringing out this bhava, you are bringing out this deep emotion of maternal love in me, and you are bringing it out in this Leela. So then when that love is so strong, even my potencies don't work. Krishna becomes overwhelmed by this. So he goes on to say, ultimately she was a failure. When Krishna agreed, however, she was successful. So this is what will happen with the devotee and the Lord. Whose love is stronger? It's a tug of war. Whose love is stronger? Can you pull the Supreme Lord with your love? Or does He pull you and control you by His energies? Whose love is stronger? It's a tug of war that's going on. Therefore, Prabhupada says here, in other words, one must be in transcendental love with Krishna, but that does not mean that one can control Krishna. See, you may be in transcendental love with Krishna. That is what is required. Doesn't mean you'll be able to control Him all the time. He is the Swarat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadeyasya Yataha Itarataste Svabhigya Swarat. This is the first verse of the Bhagavatam. Swarat, he is independent. So being independent, he can choose. But he becomes susceptible to the love of his devotees. Prabhupada goes on to say, when Krishna is satisfied with one's devotional service, so what's the secret then? How to have this deep exchange with Krishna? So Prabhupada says here, when Krishna is satisfied with one's devotional service, he does everything himself. He doesn't tell some demigods this, that to take care of you. He personally takes care of you. He does everything himself. So where does it start? So Prabhupada says here, Sevanmukhi hi jivado swayam eva spuritya aja. He reveals more and more to the devotees as the devotees advance in service. So more and more is revealed as we advance. Like we were saying, this is a very pure state of love. This is the purest state of maternal love. Radharani has the purest state of conjugal love. Hanuman has the purest state of dasya, servitude love. So these are the different personalities that are there. So these are the different personalities who have perfected each one of these states of love, which overpower the Lord's potencies by their love. But where does it start? Sevan mukhi hi jivado. Jiva means tongue. So it starts with the tongue. Prabhupada says here. This service begins with the tongue, with chanting and with taking the prasad of Krishna. Atata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavat graitam indriye sevanmukhi hi jivadho swayam meva swaratya adha. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 7:136. So this is a beautiful verse describing this point. Atata Shri Krishna Namadi. Ata means now, it starts from here. It's a starting point. In Sanskrit, it means a starting point. Atata, where? Shri Krishna Nam. You have to start with Krishna's name by chanting. So you have to engage the tongue. Atata Shri Krishna Nam Adi. Adi means the beginning. At the beginning, you have to start with Shri Krishna's name. So this is why we do the chanting process, because everything is starting from this point. Atata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavat graitam indriye. By this the senses will become controlled. The senses will become purified. Indriya means the senses. And then sevan mukhi hi jivadho. By serving the tongue, by using the tongue, by vibrating and by honoring prasadam. So you use the tongue for chanting and speaking about Krishna, and you honor Krishna's prasadam. Two things that the tongue does. Atata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavat graitam indriya sevan mukhi hi jivado. You engage the tongue. Swayam eva swaratya adha. So this spurati, this means Krishna is giving the blessing. So when we meditate on Krishna, that is our attempt. And when Krishna meditates on us, that is called spurati. That is his blessing. So one is meditation from our side, or remembrance, smaranam from our side, and spurati from Krishna's side. So these are very deep concepts spoken in Nectar of Devotion, but we're just mentioning here. So when we remember Krishna, it's called smaranam. When Krishna remembers us, it's called spurati. Spuratya adha. So this is a very, very deep science and a very deep aspect of spirituality, where one can even control the Supreme Lord. The uncontrollable Supreme Being can be controlled by love. So I hope you enjoyed the class today. Please join us again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.